This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Secretary for Department of Justice and Attorney General suspended from office. First Blue Carbon National Workshop held today. And project on solid waste management and energy security underway. A very good evening. You're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Minister for Justice and Attorney General Pila Niningi has announced today that the Department of Justice and Attorney General has a new acting secretary. Nicodemus Mosoro has been appointed by the National Executive Council as the new acting secretary for the department, who takes over from suspended Secretary Dr. Eric Kwa. All departmental heads within the Department of Justice and Attorney General gathered in a show of solidarity today to witness the announcement of the department's new acting secretary. Minister responsible for Justice and Attorney General Pila Niningi made the announcement.
Nicodemus Mosoro, who's sitting on my right as the department head, while the secretary is undergoing the trial. So I want to congratulate my acting secretary, Mr. Mosoro. Mr. Mosoro is brought up in the department. I personally don't view getting people from outside to come and head the department.
According to the Department of Personal Management and Legal Advice from the State Solicitor, an acting appointment was required to allow Dr. Kwa, the suspended secretary who has to take a paid leave pending the outcome of charges laid against him. Minister Niningi clarified that the department had no power to carry out appointments, hence the suspense until the decision by NEC to appoint Mr. Mosoro.
By law, we don't have the power, iron, fire, or suspend someone. This is where the Public Service Management and Public Service Commission and NEC makes a decision, final decision. That has happened. So it took a little while, sir.
The new acting secretary, Mr. Mosoro, thanked the Marape Rosso government for having the confidence in him to fill the void.
This role, I know I have the support of the departmental heads in the organization, the State Solicitor, the Solicitor General, the Public Trustee, the Acting Chief Commissioner of the Lands Commission, as well as the Deputy Secretaries. It is indeed a great honor and a privilege.
Mr. Nicodemus Mosoro has been with the Department of Justice and Attorney General since 2006 and is a lawyer by profession. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News. EMTV News would like to make a correction on the story aired yesterday evening on the former Air Niugini Chief Executive Officer Bruce Alabasta. The former CEO for Air Niugini, Bruce Alabasta, had his contract terminated based on a decision from the National Executive Council. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. The Climate Change Development Authority has hosted its first ever national workshop on blue carbon today at Hilton Hotel in Port Moresby. This workshop aims to understand the current blue carbon activities taking place in PNG, as well as the challenges, gaps and barriers. The outcome of this workshop will assist CCDA and its stakeholders to develop a framework that will lead to developing a blue carbon policy. That has to fit well.
The objectives of the Blue Carbon Workshop are to assess PNG's current status on blue carbon activities, inform the decision makers on the challenges, and the opportunities of addressing blue carbon activities in PNG. The blue carbon activities are a type of nature-based solution that aim to restore, protect or sustainable manage mangroves, seagrass, meadows and tidal marshes. The Acting General Manager for Measurement, Reporting and Verification and National Communication Division, Deborah Sungi, said the aim of this workshop is to have a policy framework that deals with blue carbon. The workshop was facilitated by experts from key development sectors, conducted through panel presentations and discussions.
So for us is getting all the sectors together and establishing at the end of the workshop a framework on how best we can develop a policy that is inclusive, that is effective, that can be implemented in country.
CCDA has identified organizations that are involved in implementing blue carbon activities in PNG and have shared their experience during the workshop. CCDA has also identified key organizations that will play an important role in implementing blue carbon activities in PNG in the future, which are invited to be part of this workshop.
So key areas that we would like to address in the policy is ensuring that we have the framework. So when you talk about blue carbon projects that are happening in the communities, there's not actually a governance framework that guides the development of the project itself, and also the livelihoods, benefits that the people will be getting. So the policy actually aims to capture as much as we can how best those finances can be implemented and be triggered down and benefiting the whole community.
Ms. Sungi said after the third day of workshop, they aim to have a framework of the policy, and the outcome of the workshop is to actually look at the framework of how they can design the initial policy. A key area that they wanted to address in the policy is to ensure that they have the framework. This is a 3-day workshop that commenced today and will end on Friday this week. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
The issues of solid waste and pollution management in Pacific countries, including PNG, are steadily coming to the fore with inadequate management of wastes and poor control over pollution activities. Funded by the European Union through the Pacific Adoption of Waste to Energy Solutions, the PAWES project through Organization of Africa, Caribbean and Pacific States, the Pacific Community and South Pacific Regional Environment Program will be coordinating the implementation 2022 to 2024 of PAWES project. Its main objective is enhance solid waste management and energy security in the Pacific region.
The management of solid waste and energy security are seen as global issues and prevalent in the Pacific Island countries. Many countries' rapid development and population growth have outpaced the capacity to deal with the waste produced. In addition, large sections of the communities lack access to clean and affordable energy sources. Nixon Kua, the project manager for the Pacific Adoption of Waste to Energy Solution, will head PAWES project and will look at a dual approach in addressing the lack of energy and abundance of waste to make needed progress towards aspirations for the Sustainable Development Goals. The project will also look at enhancing the solid waste management capacities for Pacific Island countries and energy security. Kua spoke of how this will be done.
The way we're trying to do it is trying to see if we can help the national government entities and subnational government entities to enable them to make decisions on waste to energy, how they can promote waste to energy in the countries, and especially for PNG. Are there laws or legislation in place to progress such activities as waste to energy in the country? If not, then how can we help out?
There will be 5 participating countries, including Solomon Islands, Samoa, Tuvalu, the Republic of Marshall Islands, and Papua New Guinea. In PNG, the Pacific Community and South Pacific Regional Environment Program is working with the National Energy Authority and the University of Papua New Guinea, Pacific Adventist University, POMTech, and other institutions to look at ways of developing waste to energy in their curriculums.
To build the capacity to be able to deliver courses. If there are existing courses, how can we be able to incorporate waste to energy curriculum into the existing renewable energy technologies or the waste management qualifications? So it's part of the project itself to design a project or a qualification to be tailored towards PNG's needs, especially in the training programs that they have in these tertiary institutions.
Specific to Papua New Guinea, the energy situation is dire, with the lowest access rate in the Asia-Pacific region. Almost 15% have access to unreliable grid connection, which is increasing in fossil fuel contribution, and about 50% have access to mostly Tier 0 to Tier 1 off-grid technologies for lighting and mobile charging, with a significant majority still dependent on firewood for cooking. With no solid waste management policy for Papua New Guinea, the recommendations from the PAWS project will be much anticipated. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
The Western Highlands Provincial Government has presented its 2023 budget to the Treasury Department. Western Highlands Province Governor Wairapa said the 2023 money plan captures the key priority areas, including education, law and order, agriculture, public transport system, health, infrastructure, and youths. Treasurer Ian Lingstaki received the 2023 budget at the Department of Treasury office in Port Moresby yesterday.
The Western Highlands Provincial Government budget is estimated at 351 million kina. However, Governor Rapa says slight increase in the budget due to rollovers for LLGs and Public Investment Program or PIP fund and new PIP project funds for MPs. The 351 million kina is made up of the following: functional grants 6.2 million kina, internal revenue 48.6 million kina, PSIP sect 10 million kina, PSG grant 0.5 million kina, PIP road projects 30 million kina, coffee rehabilitation 9 million kina, unspent funds 27.3 million kina, unspent for roads 9 million kina. Funds were also distributed for teachers and public servants' salaries, 145.3 million kina. Rest is LLG and DDA budget. Priority projects are law and order, road and infrastructure, education programs, health services, coffee rehabilitation, SME support, city redevelopment, and uniforms for public services. The provincial governor says Mount Hagen is the third city in the country and first city in the Highlands region, where all other 6 provinces in the Highlands region are migrating into his province due to law and order issues in their respective provinces. He said the health services and education services are a big challenge in the province, as well as the law and order issues when more people are moving into the province. Ian Lingstaki commended the new governor for Western Highlands Province, provincial administrator, all provincial council members, and the members of the staff for presenting the budget. He assured the Western Highlands Provincial Government that he will try his best to assess the budget as soon as possible.
But a couple of quick points you mentioned with provincial government, your internal revenue, GST. If you have any issues, feel free to contact ourselves here.
Thank you.
To deal with it. We at Treasury are fully aware that the Provincial Health Authority, all of your health facilities, not just service Western Highlands but everyone else. Yeah, happy to work with you in the course of the next 5 years.
The member for Hagen Open and Minister for State Enterprises, William Duma, who was present at the budget presentation, said he is very proud of the new governor for the presentation, as this is his first time as a member for Hagen Open to witness the budget presentation.
This budget will be the first one to be presented by the new governor of Western Islands Province.
He also confirmed that he will set up 4 offices for the 4 district MPs in his province to work in partnership with them to develop Western Highlands Province. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Following the police charges laid against the Secretary for Department of Justice and Attorney General, Dr. Eric Kwa, the National Executive Council has appointed Nicodemus Mosoro as the new head of the department. Dr. Kwa is now officially suspended, awaiting the outcome of his case, where he was formally charged by police for dangerous driving, causing death on the 17th of October 2022.
Following the formal arrest by police on Wednesday, the 8th of February 2023, the Department of Justice and Attorney General has been without a departmental head for quite a while. Minister for Justice and Attorney General Pila Naningi has announced today that upon a National Executive Council decision, Dr. Kwa has now been officially suspended from duties pending the outcome of his case. Dr. Kwa is now on paid leave of office, and upon the outcome of the court's decision, NEC will deliberate on a decision in the near future. Dr. Eric Kwa was formally arrested and charged for dangerous driving causing death under Section 328 of the Criminal Code Act. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
The Consultative Implementation and Monitoring Council hosted a first Social Accountability Summit for 3 days, which started today. The summit's theme is sharing and learning from social accountability, where different innovators and practitioners in PNG come together to share ideas on how to go about holding public service providers accountable.
Primarily looking at the flows.
CIMC Executive Officer Walis Yakam highlighted that social accountability encompasses a broad range of actions and mechanisms that empower citizens, communities, independent media, and civil society organizations to hold public officials and service providers accountable.
Civil society is weak. We don't have a voice. And citizens don't have a voice as well in order to demand. One is because there is definitely a big gap in terms of information. There is no relevant, understandable information, even the budget. Who translates and who understands the whole budget?
She further stated that currently in PNG, there is significant lack of capacity amongst accountability institutions and lack of active citizen engagement in the decision-making process of the government. Today's morning session was mostly centered around the ability of the government to inform its citizens on the national budget and how effective people can have access to it. The panelists for that session were from the Finance and Treasury Department, highlighting how their department takes on the challenge of accountability. The Director for Institute of National Affairs, Paul Bakker, talked on the government needs to be accountable for its own people.
So governments need to be accountable to their own citizens, and it's a mindset in a way. We have a problem where governments have got used to sort of sitting behind a shield and thinking, well, these are our assets, these are our funds, we don't have to really report.
It is hoped that government and non-state actors will increase the demand for accountability in the management of public resources. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
The Departments of Treasury and Finance both have a major role to play when it comes to disseminating information on the appropriation of government funds and expenditures to the people. Today, at the first day of the Social Accountability Summit, they were asked by participants on their role in making sure information is given out to the people in the national, provincial, and district levels.
Now, our second session is
A challenge identified by the Secretary for the Department of Finance, Dr. Ken Ngangan, is the need for more transparency on the accessibility of information on the government's expenditures. He said the civil society most often do not have the capacity to engage in the information.
The public has got the right to demand accountability from the public officials, including the public systems, and we as public servants, public officials, have an obligation to provide the right information.
This was also alluded to by the Department of Treasury, stating that there are bigger gaps they have to fill. For the Department of Treasury, the information is only given to the public in a way of secular and no other way apart from that. The Finance Department has a system in place called the Integrated Financial Management System, where data and information can be accessed, but the question being asked is how effective is the system, including the National Procurement Act that was mentioned by the Secretary, Mr. Ngangan. Secretary Ngangan said, for the department, they have provided training to their officers to upgrade in public accountability.
Integrated financial management system, which has got the ability to capture a complete public finance information system, so that we can then be able to make that available to the public, so that you make informed. There are questions on the use of the 10 million DSIP and other public finances. Our job is to provide the right systems so that the right information is available, the users are well informed, well skilled to be able to use the right data to be able to raise whatever development questions or agenda that you want to.
Both departments have pledged support towards social accountability, where they will work together with the service providers and the different levels of government, including the civil society, to hold service providers, including the government, accountable. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
The duly elected member for Maprik Open, Gabriel Caprice, is adamant to develop his district. He said his priorities will now be for education and human resource, health and law and order, amongst others.
In a media conference held today after his election petition victory yesterday from petitioner and former Maprik MP John Simon, Gabriel Caprice highlighted key priority areas for his district moving forward.
And I can honestly tell the people of Maprik that my priorities are education, law and order, SME, health services, and of course, I'd like to support human resource, put more money into supporting our young students to further their education in the highest learning institution.
Mr. Caprice further said frequent court cases have greatly hindered development projects from being fully implemented. However, his priorities are now set.
And I was able to conduct the meetings with my DDA board, my district administration board, since I got into the election. In fact, my priority at this point in time is I want to put more emphasis on roads. I'd like to upgrade all the feeder roads. Those are important feeder roads because in Maprik, many people are farmers.
The Honourable Member also appealed to his 5 district presidents to work in unison for the betterment of the people of Maprik District. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
Good leadership is needed in Western Province to drive economic development. This was alluded by the Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, during his visit to the province this week. Minister Maru called on the leaders and the development partners within the province to work together for change.
What is stopping Western Province to become an economic powerhouse in this country? You have the land, you have 20 years of mine life, you have revenues that are still flowing, you have partners like PNG Sustainable, Hotel Mine Stability. It just needs strong and firm leadership and a vision and someone to drive this agenda. And you need strategic partners to come. So we are here on a mission to tell Western Province we now have to be aggressive, we have to be serious, we have to look at our plan, bring investors in, mobilize some funds, and let's get going with a plan that is pragmatic and something we can do and deliver.
Great news for motorists. After nearly a year, Puma Energy PNG has reopened the newly upgraded Manu Autoport service station for business, selected as one of the sites under Puma Energy's ongoing program to showcase the latest global fit-out standards for its Super 7 convenience store with modern black color tones, replacing the green signage and high-flowing quad pumps.
It was smiles all around this morning after nearly a year out of business. The Manu service station, situated along the busy Tarama Road in Port Moresby, was reopened for business. A delighted business owner, Gideon Kindayu, who has been operating at the location for 20 years, thanked Puma Energy PNG for the upgrade and refurbishment. He also used the opportunity to call on the Governor for NCD to move the bus 19 and 17 bus stops away from the service station.
There's a bus stop lo damblong. Lo the other side also blocking me up. That means I find him hard through. Last 20 years, we fight on more bus drivers. I think more better we close this one. Now, a lot of more bus can go straight direct. Now, this other side, lo end up.
Puma Energy PNG's Country External Affairs Manager, Gideon Karali, called on the staff to ensure the service station remains clean.
As well as to encourage you guys to please maintain the cleanliness of the site. The site is clean and brand new. Let's ensure that the site is clean and maintained like this forever. I think that's the important piece. When the site is clean, when the house is clean, people will come. When the house is not good, people won't come. So that's the last thing. Thank you very much, everyone.
The refurbishment at the Manu Autoport station was done at a cost of 5 million kina, and Puma Energy Country General Manager and Director Hulala Tokome thanked his team that worked hard to ensure the work was completed.
It's again another momentous occasion for us to open another site, which basically comes with state-of-the-art facilities in terms of the pumps, in terms of what we have actually retanked this particular site, in terms of the service station offering that we've got within this particular vicinity.
A proud Governor for NCD, Powers Parker, thanked Puma Energy PNG for continuing to invest in the country.
But also for our capital city, we need to keep on lifting the city in terms of infrastructure, services, so many aspects, social and economic life, and that's very, very important. And from the outset, I want to commend Mr. Tokome, Mr. Karali, and our team in Puma.
Puma Energy PNG has invested in over 300 SMEs. And with the opening of this Manu Autoport service station, not only will it lift the face of the community here, but also motorists can enjoy a modern refueling experience every time they come to the Manu Autoport Puma Energy service station. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
And now we take a look at the Nest Fund market report. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, kina was buying $0.2765 US, $0.4077 Australian dollars, 0.2540 euro, and 37.24 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed higher, copper closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, and copper closed higher. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Good news for women landowners of mining projects in the country will be given more recognition in terms of business opportunities from mine-derived benefits going forward. This was the statement from Acting Managing Director of the Mineral Resources Authority, Jerry Gary, during the launching of the Ramu Nickel Project Women Landowners Microcredit Scheme in Madang.
The acting manager for the Mineral Resource Authority, Mr. Jerry Gary, said that for far too long, women had been missing out on their share of benefits deriving from projects. He said in most cases when men folk receive benefits, they do not consider their women's economic and development aspirations and needs, resulting in poor quality of life for families.
Mama people recognize him. Now he goes him. You call Mama by come long. And I need to look somewhere for Mineral Resources Authority. This is not legally. Alvin by me plug him you plan out. Look somewhere all Mama. Give him Alvin support him all Mama inside the mining impact community. Start him legal business so that people are looking whether all Mama now growing legal business that come having big plan or no God.
The launching of the scheme coincided with the signing of the contract for the scheme between the MRA, MiBank, and the four women's associations of Kurumbukari, Inland Pipeline, Maigari, and the Basamuk. Another highlight of the event was the announcement of a seed capital funding of 490,000 kina. According to the MiBank Madang branch manager, Solomon Singur, this fund will be parked with the MiBank Madang branch, where the women will apply for small loans at affordable rates. The fund will be used as an equity support of 75% to each loan application submitted by applicants using the MiBank's loan appraisal system. The types of business activities these women may venture into will vary from project to project and can include street vending, trade stores, bakeries, small-scale mining, fisheries, agri-businesses such as poultry and egg farms, piggery farms, and the growing of cash crops.
Inside the side, the SME side, 20 man or line building the press. Even though they have the cash, one of the assets was securing roads. And they want hindrance, they are blocking way to receive loans. So, I don't money was come and help people or security will help people. So, no more bank will come, you must put property to you. Now, MRA, you not put property to you, because money stuff, security law, vacation law.
Ramu Nickel's Community Affairs representative Albert Tombe told the women that the scheme was a great sustainable project for them, as the mine would shut down one day and that they had to rely on other means of supporting their families when that day comes.
We're looking for ways where people can partner inside and make it more big plan. My number is not stuff forever. One time number finish number go. But you plan by you plan staff lawyer. Place ground you plan. Impact the one is come up and by you plan facing this plan. So kind of opportunity also come up. And by you not come up. Time project wrong start and kind something also come up. So time you plan something look out in a growing.
The women collectively expressed joy, saying that this project would contribute immensely towards improving their livelihoods going forward. They thanked the national government, MRA, and other stakeholders. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
And now moving to overseas news. After the destruction and devastation left behind the recent Turkey Syria earthquake, World Health Organization is calling for support as the risk of diseases in camps grow.
Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus' visit comes 3 weeks after massive shocks killed more than 50,000 people in Turkey and also in neighbouring Syria. Tens of thousands are still missing and millions of people are now homeless and sheltering in camps. Mr. Ghebreyesus says there are challenges in the camps that need to be addressed.
These are like respiratory infections, gastrointestinal infection, especially mental health problem, because many people are really traumatized, and people who need rehabilitation services, especially orthopedic services. From WHO side, we will support in any way possible based on the issues observed or documented.
The International Criminal Court's top prosecutor visits Ukraine to investigate war crimes.
Karim Khan is investigating Russian attacks on power and other infrastructure. Hundreds of civilians have been killed, millions left with no electricity or water. Moscow claims they're only launching strikes at military-related facilities, but Ukraine says the attacks are a means of intimidating ordinary people. The Geneva Conventions say parties involved in a military conflict must distinguish between civilian and military objectives, and that attacks on civilian objects are forbidden.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Vanagi canoe race scheduled for this coming Saturday is set and ready to commence its 2023 season. This was announced by Poreporena Canoe Race Association President John Poddy following Trukai's donation to the tournament today. The Vanagi race is into its second year of competition and has so far registered a total of 40 clubs for this season. The tournament has housed more than 60 participants last year. However, that won't be the case this year. The reason underlying the reduction in the number of participants for this season was emphasized by Poreporena Canoe Race Association President John Poddy following Trukai's donation to Vanagi race today.
Last year we have a total of 60 canoes race. Now this year one number decline little because low one all marathon low kanuna one all suppliers all no got there. Now 2M sale 2M all no gold some loud is a sale come here sale gold one required size for me plan.
The same gaming codes and the competition methods utilized last season will be applied again this year, and the committee is looking forward to register more participants in the next 3 days. According to President Poddy, the tournament is open to Motu Koita villages. Hanuabada is currently dominating the club count with 25 registered canoes, followed by Tubuseria, Gaire, Barakau, while others are yet to sign on.
Hanuabada, Tubuseria, the invitation is open all the coastal one villages. So mainly 20 plus canoe, 25 all Hanuabada, all association canoe.
Last year's title holders were Barakau in A-grade division, while Aroma bagged the B-grade sport. For this season, the Hanuabada side is looking at putting up great challenge against the defending premiers and even grab the title. This year's A-grade winner will walk away with 10,000 kina, followed by 5,000 kina for B-grade. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports. An update on the SP-PNG Hunters and the 18-man squad and the coaching staff have departed the country yesterday for Fiji, where they will face New South Wales Rugby League's Kaiviti Silktails in the Melanesian Bowl Challenge this Saturday.
Following a disappointing home ground defeat against the Central Queensland Carpers last Saturday in the Host Plus Cup, the SPPNG Hunters departed the country yesterday to Fiji, where they will play Kaiviti Silktails in the Melanesian Bowl Challenge at the Lawaka Park in Sigatoka, Fiji, come Saturday at 4:30 p.m. The Hunters flew out yesterday to allow time for them to prepare for the fixture come Saturday. This trial is tipped to be an opportunity for the Hunters to prepare for round one of their Host Plus Cup challenge against the Western Clydesdale next Sunday. This would be the second attempt by the two sides to face off again. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The Trukai Industries Limited, as part of their 2-year agreement with Motu Koitabu Assembly, donated 50 bales of Trukai rice and Trukai merchandise items today to the Vanagi Canoe Race Committee. The presentation was done by Trukai Industries Limited brand executive Kesi Maninaka at Lalokau FM in Port Moresby and was witnessed by both Vanagi race executives and the media.
The donation consists of 50 bales of 20 by 1 kg Trukai medium grain rice and Trukai merchandise items, which include yellow, white and red Trukai shirts, string bags and Trukai glasses and caps. These donations are purposely aimed at assisting the Vanagi race sailors and officials for the upcoming race this Saturday, the 4th of March 2023. Since the inception of this tournament last year, Trukai has so far supported it in both cash and kind. This year, Trukai has contributed about 75,000 kina to this sporting event, which also includes its annual 60,000 kina pledge towards this cause. A thankful president to the Poreporena Canoe Race Association, John Poddy, who received these donations on behalf of the tournament's committee, expressed heartfelt word of thanks to the Trukai Industries Limited and its representatives who were there during the presentation.
Our association would like to give thank you to Trukai for the huge sponsorship. Previously, we won the Vanagi race sponsorship, which I think like this, but last year and this year it's very huge, 60,000 in cash and 50 plus in kind.
Trukai Industries Limited brand executive Kesi Maninaka says this is not the first time Trukai has come on board to support this sporting code, and it is certainly not the last.
Some reasons around community support, some brand related, like for this one, because it's a sporting event. Trukai is all about somebody sports in PNG, and this is one of the codes that we want to support. We donate that. We're supporting other sporting codes. We are really proud. It's a brand, the Trukai brand, to support all the sporting codes. So we're trying to venture into other codes.
This donation is in line with Trukai's 2-year agreement with the Motu Koita Assembly, valued at an annual amount of 60,000 kina, which positions Trukai as the naming rights sponsor of the Vanagi Canoe Race, which is one of the main events of the Hiri Moale Festival. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
Now we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City, cloudy periods with possible evening rain drizzles. Popondetta, evening rain showers and possible thunderstorms. In Momasa region, Lay City, mostly cloudy with some evening rain drizzles. Vanimo, few showers and thunderstorms. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, few showers and possible thunderstorms. Buka, rain showers and thunderstorms. And in the Islands region, Mount Hagen City, evening rain showers and thunderstorms. Mendi and Wabag, rain showers and thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 1st of March, 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.